What's up? This is Draco.
And this is Alicia.
And you're now tuned in to OD
Podcast.
Oh.
Period. What's up?
Hey, the queen back. The queen is back. Yeah, I thought y'all got rid of me, but you didn't do that.
Word in the curve. Draco quit the podcast and said, I was just playing. Nobody say that. But
I hope not, because get what? Let's talk about how you can't do shit for a bitch.
First of all, the number of DMs I got on the podcast page and my personal page, like people I ain't even listen to the show. They get real deep when the episode late. So
oh my god!
I hope y'all. I ain't got none today, but Jesus, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know you listen. I will shout y'all out, but I don't want to put y'all on the spot. But I appreciate that. But yeah, thank y'all for being patient with us last week episode. I actually had fun recording by myself, and I'm glad some of y'all thought I was a joke. But I was dead serious.
I was laughing at first because you had just stopped in the middle of the sentence and said, "Oh, let me just tell y'all that Draco did not quit the show. He's still here. He just gone."
You want to know what's funny? I had to add it in after I finished recording. I had to add a track saying that because I was like, "Oh, I ain't even explain why he not here."
It's cool. I'm back now. So what's up?
Period. So where you was at?
So, I've had a lot of different changes within my job within the last 3 weeks. A lot has been going on. If you know me, then you know. Just put two and two together. And one of my clients,
I almost had a joke. LA. I can't do that though. Okay.
Yeah, don't do it. One of my clients, she was in LA, and she was using a makeup artist out there who was charging, literally, I'm not exaggerating. He was literally charging 6 times the amount that I was. So she's like, if I'm gonna pay that for just one do and go, I might as well just fly my makeup artist out here and just,
6 times? And so, she will pay that? That's crazy.
I said, I'm moving.
And they would pay that.
Yeah, people pay it.
You could go out there and take over their trap.
That's why I was there so long. I took over the trap. I said that to say.
Oh my God.
So, just a background. Hopefully, I don't have a lot of people that, well, I don't care. I mean, I'm not saying nothing wrong. LA does not cater to African Americans. They cater more so to white and Hispanic, which is fine because I understand that the demographic out there is different from it is in Atlanta because we have a lot of black people here.
We're very black, baby. We the elitists of the black communities.
Period. So I understand, going to other cities like that. This is the reason why it's, you see a lot of interracial couples. And I say that because in the South, I don't see that a lot. So it doesn't shock me, but sometimes I look, I'm like, oh, her boyfriend is white. Oh, her boyfriend is
right. It's something that actually stands out because it's that. I mean, it's common here, but not like you can go several months without seeing it.
Yeah,
you can go a year without seeing it.
yeah. So with me being out there, I was only supposed to go out there for 3 days, and I ended up staying out there for almost 2 weeks because I ended up booking some more work. I'm supposed to be going back to LA tomorrow, actually.
Turn up
to work again for Facebook. And
no. Remember how to interview?
I remember. Mm-hmm. They really strict.
They should be strict, and they should have been strict on how my interview experience went. But that's neither here nor there.
And then I have to go back out there on the 28th through the 4th for an engagement photo shoot, and then go back out there on the 13th for a wedding. So I've been booked. I mean,
how can you make it to where you ain't got to keep going back and forth like that?
Move.
But I mean, true. But
honestly, at this point, since my main job is no longer existing, I have a lot of free time. So when I was out there, I did a lot of reflecting. Like I was saying, maybe I can just open up me a little studio, like my own little studio. Yeah. That way I can have somewhere to do my clients and I can decorate it really nicely. And then I do want to eventually start selling products, like I always say all the time. So I can just have it in there and sell it out of the...
Yeah, like a shop, but it's like it's your studio.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe I should just do that when I get back to Atlanta. But then, like, I just keep booking stuff. Like, I keep booking stuff out there. So I'm like, okay, so am I bi-coastal? Like, is this what this is giving now?
I mean,
I'm just going to have to start traveling with my MacBook now. Because I don't travel with my computer because my life is just always, like, on the go. And I'll be scared I'm going to leave it. So anything like this, I'll just be leaving it at home. That's why I couldn't record last week. So I think that what I'm going to start doing is just traveling with my MacBook. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, honey, and we can always double up, or we can figure out workarounds. Like, I get it.
But yeah, so that's my life right now.
That's what you wanted, and then
unfortunately,
something had to get terminated for you to, kind of get that reassurance. But God working mysterious ways.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually not as mad as I thought I would be, just because I've learned to just save my money over time. So I'm like, I'm good. Just in case something like this happened, I'm like, I'm okay. But, it does give me a little bit more free time to do other stuff that I want to do, even though that didn't take up a lot of my time. But now it's kind of putting fire under my ass because it's like, all right, you don't have this extra money no more, so you need to do something else or figure it out. So, yeah.
I mean,
it's cool. I love LA though. Let me tell you something. I love LA. The only thing I don't like out there, I have to really understand where to get food from. The whole 2 weeks I was there, I had 2 meals that were good, and the 2 meals came from the same place. I even tried to like get some really expensive food. Like I ordered food from Katana, and my meal was like $75, and it was trash with a capital letters all the way across.
Well, I used to live in the Bay Area, and I concur. I mean, it's the same thing happened to me. I went to the most popular quote unquote soul food restaurant, and I think for them, soul means not flesh. It don't mean, from the soul. So, yeah.
It was very LA. They DoorDash is very LA. Like they have, I will say that they have so many options for healthy food and healthy eating that it's overwhelming. It's like, damn, it kind of forces you to eat healthy because it's like
that's what happened.
You literally don't have no excuse.
Yeah, and it'd be stuff that you just would have never, like, when people think about eating healthy, okay, we got broccoli, we got grilled fish, something like that. Out there, it'd be like bok choy milkshakes, like
yes. No, for real. Like they have even in the ice cream shops and cookie places, they have vegan options. And in my head, I'm like, does the Insomnia Cookie in Atlanta have vegan options?
Probably not. They probably have like gluten-free or something like that. But
they have vegan options at Insomnia.
What? Listen, I know I was out there for 5 months and I lost 30 pounds without trying. So I get it. Now that's the upside to it, I guess. And it'll cause you to not even crave certain stuff because you don't have access to it no more. I mean, we did have a Popeyes, but that's one of them things you do not eat all the time. You be feeling all heavy.
Like the Popeyes that was in LA. I was staying in West Hollywood. That one was in Compton. Like it was in the hood.
Yeah. Of course, it's like the market, I guess. But you know what though? I was one of our mutual friends, she recently like permanently relocated to LA. It ain't even that expensive. I mean, I'm sure
I try to explain people that because I think that what it is, they're comparing off of old prices because our old prices, of course, were very drastic.
But the neighborhoods offer more now.
Yeah. And the thing about LA is you get paid way more money, and the cost of living out there is more like just gas prices. I was looking at gas because I ended up driving around. I was driving a freaking Tahoe, girl.
Ooh,
First of all, I don't even drive trucks, but I was driving a Tahoe and I had to put gas in it a few times. The gas out there is almost $5.
Yeah, the gas is high. I remember I didn't have my drop.
The actual like rent at apartments and stuff like that is very similar to living downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree.
Anywhere in the perimeter, like in the city, is very close to it. It's not far off. No.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that.
I think that I'm used to driving so much. So in my head, I'm like, they complain about a 15-minute drive, even during traffic. Like, I get it, but I'm used to this.
See, I didn't even have a problem with traffic when I was out there either. And I mean, maybe because we just used to Atlanta traffic. Yeah. I'm sure LA traffic can get worse than Atlanta, but I know in my experience, I don't really deal with Atlanta traffic that bad because I always move in a location that it puts me where the places I'm normally going to.
Yeah, I agree. So it wasn't that bad to me. Honestly, I love it. I love the, I just think it smells bad. That's the only thing. It stink. Like my clothes were really smelly. I would be outside for 5 minutes and I was like, oh my God, it stinks. I did get to experience some things. Like I was supposed to go to Hollywood Sign. I didn't go, but my friends, I have a lot of friends that live out there already, and they were introducing me to their friends. So they ended up throwing like a little bonfire at the beach.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was a little skeptical. You said an illegal post?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical at first because in my head, I'm like, I just don't want us to be the cause of brush fire. Of a brush fire or something like that. Because I'm like, I know that the air
getting caught.
Child, it was like 70 bonfires going on. It was nobody was getting caught. We was in Malibu, and it was so many bonfires. People were out there doing whatever drug that you do with a machine and put it in a balloon and you do it. They were out there doing that. It was crazy.
Is it Whippets? Oh, that's the one they doing that in.
I think it is Whippets though, but it's just a bigger machine.
Now that's.
So I'm like, this must be like the little spot. They was like, yeah, this is Malibu. Don't nobody come on this side of the beach. So we were out there just roasting marshmallows, listening to music, just talking. It was pretty fun. Like the vibe of that. It was just at the ocean. So
what you gonna do when your lease up? You thinking about leaving? You gonna break your lease? What's the plan?
I get a good amount of my work done here, and also like a lot of my clients that are signed to labels, they shoot a lot of their videos out here because of the resources. So if anything, I think that I will just be like bi-coastal for now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, I don't know.
No, I mean that makes sense, and plus, I mean, obviously that's gonna take time to plan and stuff like that. But maybe by the time your lease is up, you'll have a more firm perception.
Yeah, my lease isn't up until November, so I understand. I'll know by that time. But yeah, I really love it out there. I really do.
Oh, Pooh. Anyway, I was just playing. Okay, well, as far as Atlanta is concerned, you have Black Business of the Week.
All right, so I do have a Black Business of the Week. I don't know how to pronounce it, so bear with me. And if you are listening to this, the company that is, help me out, sis. So I'm thinking that you pronounce it Atira Leon, Atira Leon, or something like that. I can't pronounce it. But so basically, I came across this company maybe like a year ago on Twitter, and it got popular because it was like a do-rag shop in LA. Like the lady who came up with the brand, she just came up with like luxury do-rags. So she literally has a shop that just sells like cashmere silk do-rags, leather do-rags. She has scarves for women. But a lot of people just wear these do-rags just as a fashion statement. I don't really know too many people that wear them as actual do-rags. But I didn't even know that. I mean, I think I knew that it was in LA, but I just never thought twice about it. Like I was like, maybe I'll order online one day, but I didn't see enough people buying it to get reviews from it.
Yeah, so, she actually had Twitter in an uproar because they was hating on the fact that it was a woman selling do-rags.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So randomly, whenever I visit a new city, I just go on an adventure. So I literally got in the Uber and I wanted to go to the Rick Owens store. And I knew that it was on like Fairfax and off of Melrose and all that. So I'm like, I want to just walk down there. So I ended up just walking and randomly running into the store. Like I just randomly seen it. So I was like, oh, snap. So I went in there and met the owner. We were literally having a conversation for about like 45 minutes, just about being Black in the industry and like how good her business has been in LA. And she's from Atlanta. She said she started her business in Atlanta and she was going to open a shop in Atlanta, but the market wasn't like Atlanta isn't in a space where they would want to buy a do-rag. Like they wouldn't just go to a shop and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. And the street like Melrose, you going to get that foot traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get foot traffic up and down there all the time. And she said it's just been really good. So I ended up buying one from her. I bought, she has like tiers of do-rags. So I ended up getting the top tier one.
Period. That must have been, what so it made out of? It's made out of Gorilla Glue.
Oh, it was made out of cashmere silk. Like she has regular silk ones. She has velvet ones, and then she has cashmere silk ones. So I got the cashmere silk, a snakeskin one. And the boxes, like the service, the way the store smelled, the way that her display was. She said she changes her display every month. Like they changed the store completely, like changed the floors. Like, yeah, she put a lot of time into that. So I'm gonna have Alicia put the website and the Instagram inside of the bio of the episode because I cannot pronounce it. But I want y'all to check it out. Like they do have some really nice stuff. If you're a woman, they have scarves, so you have scarves to go around your head and your neck. And then she has do-rags as well and all different type of prints and fabrics. It's sickening.
Period. Okay, cool. Yeah, I never dove deep into her shop because I just didn't feel like it was applicable to me. But I do remember seeing the prop and how it was like color coordinated and everything, and it was just like perfectly aligned. I think that's super cool. So cool. So yes, like you said, it will be in the episode notes, and shop with your girl.
Okay, period.
And I mean it.
Oh, they sell bathing suits. I ain't even see all that on there. I guess it was cold. They sell bathing suits and she sells sweatsuits. I ain't see none of this. Okay. Yes, honey. I can't wait with my little do-rag.
Cool. All right. Well, let's drive over to Shop Talk. So apparently Apryl Jones and Dr. Dre are dating.
Oh, awkward.
Did you see them out when you was in LA?
No, girl, I kept missing everybody. Mind you, I was staying in West Hollywood and missed Beyonce and Jay-Z on Black Friday. They was right there. I missed them.
I remember when I went to DC 2 years ago, the same day one of the days I was there, the Obamas were unveiling a new portrait at the Smithsonian Museum of Portraits, and I was sick. I'm like, hold on, because I could have planned to go had I known, because I had planned that trip like several months in advance. But
well, you can't plan to go to Beyonce and Jay-Z; they just be there.
I know, right.
And mind you, I missed them twice. The day that I actually got there, they were at Nobu. Randomly, and then
I heard they bringing Nobu to Phipps Plaza. They're gonna change their mind with all these car break-ins.
Yeah, they were supposed to do that like a year and a half ago, so I guess they're still building it, but whatever.
Yeah.
It won't be as I feel like it won't be as popular as people would think, just because we don't have that type of food here.
Yeah,
a lot of people are not really gonna be into that. Like,
I think tourists probably will.
Yeah, but even what would they order?
I don't know. I don't even know what's on their menu.
Like a lot, the one of the popular things to order at Nobu is like jalapeno yellowtail sashimi, which is like,
okay. Well, never mind. I'm gonna just go to Planet Smoothie.
Oh. So it's like thinly. You've seen it before. It's like thinly sliced raw yellowtail fish, and they put a jalapeno on it, and they put this brown, like, it looks like soy sauce, but it's like,
who came up with, let me be a chef. I'm sure there's a science behind that, but like for real.
It's like Asian tradition, so it's not our food.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying, my bad, I don't want to be disrespectful. I respect all cultures. I am not Asian doll. Sorry.
Hit them by name, sis. That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of Asian doll, she made a post on Twitter the other day saying, "Hey y'all, I'm at this Indian restaurant. What should I order? Everything look nasty." Okay, first of all, I genuinely understand when food looks nasty, but you don't even know what it is to even have an appreciation for the food. You know what I'm saying? You know what look nasty? Soggy cereal, beanie weenies, the inside of a Snickers bar.
Let me just tell y'all. I don't know what trauma my friend Alicia as a child, but stuff like beanie weenies, ramen noodles, soggy cereal. What else do you that you just can't?
I can't have no more. I mean, I don't even know, but I know. I'll tell you when I find out.
Raviolis in the can.
Oh God.
Now
I do eat ravioli, but since the can one come with meat, I don't eat meat, so I'll be fair on that. It's a lot of stuff. Once I got out the hood, I had to leave it behind me. It triggered.
I feel you on that. Now,
noodles, I'm sorry, I don't even like ramen. I don't even want to see that wave in the noodles. The way that like you got too much gel in your hair. I don't want to see that.
I love ramen. I love Asian food. That's probably why.
Well, Asian doll must have forgot that India was in Asia. So if you're gonna play the part, play it all the way, sweetheart. I just think it was really disrespectful. I learned a long time ago
very disrespectful.
That you like when it comes to people's food, obviously there's a part of their tradition. They might be hard to grasp living in America since we're on stolen land. But people have things that are traditional, and when they come to America, they probably feel the same way. They probably be like, "What is this? Why in the world do y'all put hot sauce on y'all shrimp?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it was just disrespectful for her to say that. And you know how they do? They come back with their little apology post when
Yeah. I see something like that is going around because a lot of people were trying to say that African food wasn't appealing.
These
And so
YouTubers.
now it's like a trend on TikTok and Instagram of people trying African food and egusi.
Yep, I've been seeing it all on YouTube too.
Yeah, like everybody been trying to, even white people, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good." But I think that the initial
now, hold on now. If you childish, then say that. I thought Nobu was a hibachi restaurant.
I think that's Katana. Katana has like hibachi style.
Oh my!
It was nasty though, girl. Let me tell you something. That crab fried rice, I just knew it was finna be good. Nasty.
What do these people be eating when they go?
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but
they just be going.
I feel like when it does come here, a lot of people not gonna really fuck with it because the menu.
Maybe I have a different menu for the like location, like some restaurants.
I mean, they gonna have most of the same stuff though, for sure.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, you're right.
But this is what I had. I tried it when I was in LA this time. The yellowtail jalapeno sashimi.
What the heck? That look like raw chicken that's marinating.
It's fish.
Ooh, let me not be disrespectful. Speaking of disrespectful, Moneybag Yo tweeted something along the terms of, I made a couple M's in the pandemic. I don't want it to end. And all I'm saying, if you did the PPP loan, then say that.
Now, speaking for myself, I will say that I've never made this much money ever.
Okay.
Now,
so much that you don't want the pandemic to end. You don't want.
I would never say that.
Okay. Point. This is my point.
I would never say that. I would never say that I don't want the pandemic to end because of my own personal gain from it. Knowing how harmful this is and how people have lost their lives and whole families. Like, I know I've read some Beyonce's makeup artist, Raquel, literally lost his family to COVID maybe like within the last 2 months.
I know 2 people who have lost more than 4 people to COVID.
He lost his dad, his mom, and his grandma all in the last 2 months to COVID. So like, me knowing that, I would never say anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. Like, and this is for anybody, even outside of the PPP loans. Like, maybe I did get some of the PPP money second-handedly. Like, somebody spent their PPP money working with me.
Yeah.
So, but
the trickle down effect.
Yeah. However, you know, I'm grateful to know that, you know, that I have been able to benefit from the pandemic, but I would never say nothing like that.
Yeah, and that was my thing. Honestly, I don't know how he got this money, but in my mind, my regular tax-paying consumer mindset, if you're an artist, and how did you make that kind of money? Because you're not doing show. I mean, yeah, they are doing bookings, I guess you could say.
They're doing bookings and they're doing virtual shows. Like, that's what I was.
You're right. Let me just mind my business. I just think it was very irresponsible and tasteless to say something like that. I do understand. Wow, I made a lot of money. Like, for me, I have been very stable in the pandemic, and I've even done very like progressive things. But I would never just think like, dang, if we can just get 1 or 2 more years of COVID.
What about the people who haven't been able to work this whole time?
That's what I'm saying. I know people right now who are in a bad financial situation because of COVID, and they were doing well before this stuff happened. And that's my thing. And I get it. Sometimes you can be your lifestyle can be so different that'll make you mentally removed from maybe where you came from or people that are not in your position. I get it. It's you know, you can get caught up and you can kind of lose sight of that. But I just, you know, I just feel like I'm already overly conscious about things I say and the decisions I
don't agree with that though.
Yeah.
Only because I think for me, I don't know if it's because I'm a what do they call it? Empath. Like, yeah. I just kind of like resonate with other people's feelings and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, growing up the way that I grew up, and we weren't even like poor, but we definitely lived below average. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just to be around that and just to understand that how people have to like figure out life, like the way that we had to figure things out just on our own, just because we didn't have hot water and
Exactly.
food and stuff like that. Like I would never forget those times. And so just because I become a entertainer or somebody that's famous or even just an influencer that has a lot of money, I would never want to forget like where I came from, to the point where I'll say some really selfish stuff like that. Like that's just
me either.
I never want to. I don't get why like people even like, especially from the hood. And I get it. You never had that much money before, and I get it because it's new for you. But I don't get why people find like they have to just brag about it or just throw it in people's faces. I'm like, I get it. You have the money, but that, I don't know. Like I'll say some stuff to my friends sometimes, like jokingly, like, "Oh yeah, I'm having it." Da, da, da.
Yeah, but I feel like the tone that you use with your friend, like you just need to be like cognizant of what you're saying and who you're saying it to. We've all said stuff amongst our friends and family that might not be socially acceptable, but it's because you have the relationship and the rapport with those people where they understand, they know your heart, they know where you're coming from. But you do have to be responsible about what you put out there. And I'm just like, because you got some baby mamas that might feel otherwise.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really weird. Do I have a shop talk? Let me just say that I 100% agree. 100% believe that Torey Lanez shot Megan after seeing his hair. That's all I got to say.
Man, I am ready for that to listen. He's annoying.
Sorry to even bring it back up because I don't need to.
I would love to know what really happened. You know what I'm saying? But he is a very annoying person. He's carrying on like the most innocent person. That's like, according to his words that come out his mouth. But I hate the way he be trolling and stuff whenever Megan says or does something on the internet. I think that's really lame. And it's not if it comes down to the point where he is exonerated or whatever is considered when you, I guess, acquitted or whatever. Yeah. If that comes down to being what happened or what the judge decides what happened, I feel like we never gonna hear the end of it. And we already can't hear the end of it now, but I just feel like the way he's gonna be carrying on is lame. Okay.
Sorry.
Wow. So moving on from Torey Lanez.
Yeah. He on that list of people that should not speak. Him,
Joe Biden.
Now.
Okay. But Trey Songz always had that energy out there. It just wasn't so back to back like this.
Yeah, I never knew that he was this problematic because I'm not a Trey Songz fan. I rarely listen to his music. I don't care about his music that much. He has some songs here and there that I play. But for the most part, I'm just not really a fan. I know he was that problematic. So he's on that list too. He don't need to talk. Boosie don't need to talk. T.I. don't need to talk.
Joe Biden
don't need to talk.
He had Twitter in an uproar this morning.
Oh, about them student loans. I saw.
Yeah.
I saw it, baby.
My 2 cents, he never agreed to the $50,000 forgiveness. That's a fact. He did agree to $10,000, but people said only reason why people got so excited about and attached to that $50,000 forgiveness is because people that are associated with him said that they were going to propose it to him, and they listed the reasons why it would be okay, and they took that and ran with it. Now, as far as that other stimulus check, I can't defend that, but I will say that he never, ever, ever agreed to, number one, defund the police, and number two, forgiving $50,000 student loan debt. So y'all gonna have to take that up with the clickbait that y'all saw and didn't read the article from.
One thing about Alicia, she gonna make sure you read the article.
Please do. Thank you. Facts only love. But, and speaking of people that shouldn't talk, B. Simone.
I was just about to say something about her.
You know what? This is my. She has always. It's a few people that annoyed me since the inception of their career. Summer Walker being number one, B. Simone being the line leader. Okay, she is just, her voice is very annoying, and it's funny because I've seen her on certain platforms where I liked her. Like I've heard her on podcasts being a quote unquote normal person having a regular conversation, and she was likable. I'm like, oh, okay, okay, she's got some depth or whatever. And I went to a Horrible Decisions live show, and she hosted it, and she was funny, but it's her Instagram persona that is like, oh my God, I just can't deal with it. She's just not funny. Her voice has annoyed me. But anyway, her platform was kind of built around that boyfriend thing, like wanting a boyfriend, manifesting a boyfriend, man this, man that, this kind of man I want. Oh my God, the baby is my man. Hold up, actually the baby mama and the girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. So now she has a boyfriend who's this football player. And then she go on Valentine's Day talking about y'all trying to get this kind of man, but you ain't got this. Now, don't get me wrong. She was not lying. What she was saying was accurate, but she is so annoying that her delivery ruined the whole message to me.
Yeah.
And I just feel like now you just so cocky that you don't snag the man, and now you the coach.
She don't bother me. I actually didn't watch the video. I watched a little bit of it, and I did feel like what she was saying was true. I just think that it was coming out of the wrong person's mouth, so nobody wanted to receive it.
Exactly.
Then
you see people who's claiming that statement was stolen from them. I was like, okay, y'all pushing it now.
Yeah, this is too much. Social media is the queen of I made this up, and I'm like, you really didn't, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless you got a tweet to prove you made it in 1895, that's it. All right, so moving on from Shop Talk, let's get into. Oh, actually, no, I have one. So the last thing I want to share in Shop Talk was basically today. There was a video that Sage the Gemini, who we shouldn't even be talking about, but he's only made semi-relevant because he dated Super Scent. But anyway, he posted a video with Tokyo Vanity. I'm not exactly clear of the friendship or relationship he has with Tokyo Vanity, but it was a very old video, and you can tell by the quality and how they look. And it was just kind of very flirty. He was like blowing kisses. It was just weird. They were sitting in the car. Yeah. And so, I don't know what the context he was trying to provide, but it was very clear that he knew that posting that would spark a conversation, maybe make it seem like he's doing something with her. And, she's close friends with Super Scent. And, anyway, they addressed all that. And Tokyo was just saying, like, you know what you was trying to do, blah, blah, blah. We just friends. And my question to you, is what I got from this situation is, how do you feel about your friends remaining friends with your ex?
So I have this conversation with my friends all the time because out of respect for my friends, once they break up, unless I know that they're in one of those relationships where they are going to get back together and then come around, cool. But it wouldn't be a thing where, like, I would reach out to them and say, hey, let's go out. Let's hang out. Oh, you look nice. Da-da-da-da. I don't do that. I'm sorry. I think that's just very rude and it's intrusive. Now, if I was out and I ran into my friend's ex in the store or something, I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Keep it going, keep it cordial. We don't have a personal issue, but that you and my friend used to date. I met you through them. Y'all not dating no more. It's not much that we can talk about, but a hey and a bye.
Yeah.
So I have brought this up to my friends because that's just how I treat the situation. And they don't have that same respect for me because the boyfriend that they did it to, we used to live together. Like we used to live together, and of course they were at our house all the time, and they built the relationship with him because he was always around us. So in their head, they feel like that's their friend as well. But when we broke up not necessarily on bad terms, but we didn't have a good relationship towards the end. Like, for good reason, you know what I'm saying? And then it's certain situations that I found out that are between me and him that I just can't, it don't really sit well with me, and it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I check on him every now and again because, obviously I do still care, but I don't need you all up in my face telling me that we need to get back together. Y'all were so cute together. Oh, this and this and that. I still follow him, and I think da-da-da-da. But they just be giving him compliments and follow, like, oh, nice.
And it's in publicly, like you'll be on a page. Yeah.
And it's so annoying. I feel like that's rude as fuck. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I agree. So for me, I think that it depends. It depends on why y'all broke up and the extent of our friendship. Because I think that if this is somebody you've been with for, like, let's say 5 to 10 years, I can see how they have built a serious friendship with your friends. Now, if y'all ended on specific terms, like let's say you had to relocate and they don't want to do long distance, or y'all naturally grew apart, I can see where there isn't a clear line on you need to cut that person off. But if y'all broke up on bad terms, like abusive, crackhead, stealing, stuff like that. It's like, why would you want to, you see what I went through with this person, why would you want to keep them around? You know what I'm saying? And obviously people are grown, they can make their own decisions, but I feel like stuff like that, like, it's like, if you have a really bad, it's like one of them situations where somebody did you so wrong, and then people are still friends with them that you consider very close to you. And it's like, why in the world you want to be friends with that person? Now, I do think people have a right to be friends with whoever they want to be friends with. I just think that there's a line to be drawn. Like, to me, I have been friends with people's exes after they broken up, but I would never hang out with them again. It's not even like to that point where I wouldn't even text them. I can't even tell you their phone number. But I've had situations where people befriended somebody that I was in a relationship with. We broke up, and years down the line, they was hanging out. I'm talking about going to each other's house, and I had no idea until later on. They were like, "Oh yeah, I was just with such and." I'm like, "What?" And now I think it's weird because to me, I feel like y'all probably at some point have discussed me, which is really weird. Which disgusts me. Double entendre. But I just feel like it's just weird. You know what? It's just weird. I think we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and this is one of the things that makes me never want to share my relationship online, or to not even have people follow, like, to even if I share my relationship, to not tag them, because people just, I don't know, it's just a weird world.
So in what ways do you think that people should, how do you think your friends should deal with your ex or your boyfriend if y'all break up? How do you think that?
I think for me, in my head, if I was the person, like, let's say I was the guy, or I said a girl, so I would expect the people associated with my ex to stop talking to me personally. I would expect that to be the natural separation. It's like, you know, you break up with the man, you break up with his family, or the girl and her family, whatever the case is. But I think that the appropriate thing to do, if that person, I think it has to be like a slow leak. I don't know, because it's like, when y'all break up, do I just go and run and unfollow you? Like, should that be the first thing on your mind? But I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like if the time comes,
no, I don't do that, and I don't expect anybody else to do that either. I'm sorry, I get that, but I don't expect people to run and do that though.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that, okay, following may be one thing, I guess, but it needs to stop there. Like, y'all should not be, I shouldn't come across no picture of y'all at the bar hanging out, because it's like, it's just a lot of mistrust that goes on with that. Now I got questions, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, now I don't even know, because, and I'm not even saying that to defend nothing, because I don't have any, like, I don't have any situation like that where I'm kicking with people's exes, but it's like, I think it's just bad. It's case by case. I think it's case by case, because it's just so complex. It's like, okay, like you said, you don't expect them to just go run and unfollow them, but I do think maybe the right thing to do is to be like, hey man, you know, that's my dog. Y'all not together no more. I don't think she or he would be cool with us still communicating.
Yeah.
And that's just really what it is.
Yeah.
But people get so finicky, like, oh, what that mean? Dang, I thought we was better than that. I mean, you thought too, but I also wouldn't have known you if it wasn't for her. So it's kind of like, or him. So it's like, now what do we do?
It's like,
have you ever found out, like, so what were some of the comments that they was making, like the compliments?
they were just, because my ex is like a stylist, so he dresses really outlandish sometimes, but it's like really cute. Mm-hmm. And they'll compliment him on his style. He also raps, so they'll.
See, I would take that as flirting. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it is too much. So, but it'll give like, "Oh, brother, I miss you, brother."
Not brother. Okay, yeah, no, not. Oh. Y'all not even related, because that's incest. So like, yeah, I guess the fair thing to do with all that considered is just cut ties with them. If your friends, like, you know, if you need to confirm with your friend that they done.
Yeah.
Where your loyalty at? If they done, let it go. That's just because even though I'm a little confused with it, I think the right thing to do is just cut ties. It's just like,
that's something I'm working on, because I'm the type of person where, like, I don't like to have conversations in my head. I'm like, people know what the fuck they be doing wrong. So
yeah, for sure. You would think.
If I cut you off, you know why I cut you off. But now I get to the point where I need to let you know, like, hey, I don't like what you did. I feel like you disrespecting me. You don't respect what I got going on. This friendship isn't compatible. Bye. I mean, not those exact words, but I just feel like I should.
Because guess what? Later on down the line, let's say you cut that friend off, and then you find out they end up messing with your ex. It's like, well, was you planning that all along?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, I think I know how to navigate through a relationship now. Like I haven't been in a relationship for so long, but I just kind of just, for one, I feel like over the years I've just got to know myself a little better about how I approach things. Um, just about like me being so aggressive to myself, and I need to be more gentle and just let myself be human and like what I like and not feel bad about certain things just because I feel like society makes, a big deal about things like, oh, you're not supposed to go about it this way because this part, you need to have this together and that person together. But
And that literally varies based on the person. So there's no rule for that. It's a lot of things, at least I don't know, but I mean, I'm just speaking on behalf of heterosexual relationships. It's a lot of things that men don't care about if women have or not. But we care about it as women because we feel like it makes us more valuable. But a lot of times dudes just be like, if they care that much, it might be because either they're lacking in that area or they are someone that has done so much that it's like you gotta have, a little bit more accolades. But for like the average day-to-day person, it's like, okay, you work at Chick-fil-A. Now
yeah, I always say that I feel like I should be with another artist, whether it's a music artist, a painter, photographer, hairstylist, whatever. I feel like those are the only people that will understand me. But even in that relationship, even though that was my longest relationship and that was like one of my best relationships, it still didn't end well. But we didn't end on no like crazy terms. The crazy stuff I didn't find out until after we were broken up, and then just
that's the worst.
things started coming in. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Reason why I feel like I should date somebody in the arts is just because I feel like they will understand me. And for me, I think I know enough. I don't know a lot. And I'll be feeling like I want to learn from my partner. Like I don't need a teacher or whatever, but I want it to be a situation where we can learn from each other. I can learn new stuff and date somebody that's open-minded and
well, just like B. Simone, who didn't want to date a 9-to-5er. You just like her. You Draco Simone.
I didn't say I didn't want to date a 9-to-5er. I just said,
well, I'm saying she wanted to date an entrepreneur is what I'm saying. She was like, I can't date a 9-to-5er because okay.
Oh,
anyway.
no. I didn't say that much, but
oh, my bad. Honey.
I understood what she was trying to say. She just didn't. Her delivery was wrong.
Yeah.
So, in dealing with this with your friends, right? So, is there a proper? Is there like a proper way that you approach your friends about them, or if you feel like they're doing something that's invasive or stepping over their boundaries with your ex or your current boyfriend? What do you feel the best way to approach them about it? Because I know that they will probably do it in front of like say for instance, if you feel like they're overstepping their boundaries in front of your boyfriend. First of all, let me just say that I hate when people automatically attack the other person because
instead of holding a partner accountable.
Yeah, because for one, the person that you're dating made them feel comfortable enough to act like that. So it takes two to tango. So you need to start right here.
Yeah. Because and even if they didn't, they should have gave them that impression after the first try. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Check it at the door, honey.
So what do you think the proper way to approach situations like that is?
You know what? Honestly, anything like that will give me a little rage. So I'm just going to check them exactly how I feel in that moment. Be like, hold on, what's this? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know if there's a way that I can come to you calmly because I'm going to take that real personal. I feel like you just got to say it right in there. You got to address it. And maybe there's a more professional way to do it. Maybe you could be like, hey, when you get a chance, call me. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes one thing I learned about people, feedback in the moment is the most impactful because now they got to sit in that.
Yeah, I've learned that too because I like to sit and marinate on things because I don't want the wrong thing to come out. But at this point, let it come out.
Let it go.
I'll apologize about it later.
Yeah, and this is the thing too, man. Sometimes when people do certain stuff, you don't even be shocked. So that's gonna even make you a little bit more irate. It's like, wow, I should have known this. Dirty feet, wax ears, booger nostril, wop side head, MFer.
Keep going, E.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you had to confront anybody about it, or have you just kind of let it go?
I more so confront the person who it is because I never really had to confront well, except him, I definitely never had to confront like my boyfriend or my partner about friends or fucking with other people.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did have to confront people who I've talked to, like dated, not like in a relationship with, but like dating. Because I think that what it is that if you talk to one of my friends, that makes it uncomfortable for me, whether it was before or after me. And I feel like that happens a lot, like in my community. I'm pretty sure it happens all over, but I can only speak for myself. But yeah, people be feeling like it's okay to talk to me, and then if it don't work out, go to my friends.
That is crazy, and that does happen in the straight community. That's like the extreme act of desperation. It's like Jesus.
And they'll be trying to come back. It don't work, then they come back.
That is honestly, that is foul. Like, I do believe there's a such thing as picking the wrong friend. Yeah. And to me, you either take that L or you gotta let 20 years go by before you step into that pool, because it's like you probably shouldn't have rushed to being intimate. You know what I'm saying? You should have took your time. I don't know. I think that is absurd.
It's so weird because that has happened to me while living in the same house as my friend.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Like, we live in the same house and you still do this. Like, you gonna do this? Like, you up here writing me about this and then you sending this person news that's literally in the room.
That's foul. That's foul.
One of them folks I told you what. That's why I hit that block. Alicia, I don't block people like that. So if I blocked you, crazy tell self.
Okay. That's gonna be the name of the episode. Anyway, okay, what was we saying?
That was it. That was what I had to say.
Okay, cool. Have you I was about to say, have you ever had your family befriend your ex? Or have you?
Not necessarily my ex, but my family do this thing where I tell them I'm not friends with somebody no more, and they'll still be trying to be friends with. Why that was my friend?
No, when it comes to family, everybody get cut off. If my cousin beefing with you, best believe I'm beefing with you, and I don't care.
Yeah, my friend. Why you not talking to my friend? Like, girl.
Sorry. Now, if it comes to anybody in my family, if they say it's over, it's over. I'm gonna have that same energy. I'm sorry. It's different for friends, but
my family is like that. It's just my sister. My sister gets really attached to people.
Dang. Well,
so she'll be trying to figure out ways to like
make y'all back cool. Anyways, all right. So I guess that wraps our subject of today. Long story short, if I dated someone and you are my friend, you are not their friend.
And if you are, just know that you are the window.
From the window. I'm just playing. Yeah, it's kind of trifling. I actually, now that we've had a conversation, I've been able to let it marinate. I don't need any of my friends remaining to be friends with my exes, and I'm going to pay them that same respect.
Yeah, same. Because I know how.
Unless there are stipulations. Unless it's like one of those situations where I was friends with them before y'all. Like, it's like some stuff that make it complex, but for the most part, that's not what's going on. So we're not going to play that game. We was friends before all this.
What what's Carla be saying? Kurt Franklin, preacher.
Okay, goodbye. All right, y'all. It's been another episode of OD Podcast. Appreciate you. Thank y'all so much for being patient with us.
Yes, honey. Thank y'all for holding down for me last week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Alicia, she had to hold it down.
It actually was fun. I can't even lie. So.
All right.
Yeah, I had more fun than when I be recording with you. 12 Puppets already told me they couldn't wait for the next solo episode.
The window.
Bye.